So President Biden has appointed 2 new top economic advisors. Who are they? Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Reiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So economic issues are front and center at the minds of most Americans these days. We have suffered through inflation, a major recession as a result of the COVID crisis that we're now recovering from, and a potential new recession as a result of increasing interest rates as part of the Fed's effort to tame inflation. All this is happening with the president up for re-election next year. So you can imagine how important economic issues are right now. And perhaps most importantly, of course, we've got the looming debt crisis, with Congress threatening not to increase the debt limit unless the president agrees to some cuts, despite the fact that these expenses have already been authorized by Congress. In many cases, by a Republican Congress, with Donald Trump as president. So who are these 2 new advisors? Well, he's appointed Lael Brainard to be director of the National Economic Council. This is a position that does not require Senate confirmation, and she is basically the president's top advisor on economic issues. Brainard, who has a PhD in economics from Harvard and actually taught economics at MIT, has quite a resume going for her. She actually was a top Treasury official during the Clinton administration and the Obama administration, focusing especially on foreign affairs. And her success in that position led President Obama to appoint her to the Federal Reserve Board. There, just 2 years ago, she was elevated to the number 2 position on the board by President Biden. She had been considered a leading candidate to replace Jerome Powell, who of course was appointed by Donald Trump to replace Janet Yellen, but she had really 2 things going against her. Number 1 was that people, generally speaking, were pretty happy with Powell. Despite the incredible pressure placed on him by Donald Trump trying to politicize the Fed, he, generally speaking, tried to navigate kind of an independent middle road. The other thing she had going against her was while certain progressives, such as Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, were calling for Powell to be replaced, Lael Brainard on the Fed really hadn't been that much of a liberal. So it's not like they had a candidate that they could back in that race. The other economic policy advisor who Biden appointed is Brian Deese. And he's someone who's an unapologetic liberal. He's been appointed to head the Council of Economic Advisors, a position that does actually require Senate confirmation. Bernstein, for his part, has a PhD in social welfare from Columbia University. And before that, he worked for years as a top analyst at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, a liberal think tank in Washington. I think most liberals are hoping that he will push the Biden administration in a more progressive direction. But of course, his position does require Senate confirmation, so we'll see how that goes. At any rate, these positions are critical, given the importance that the economy is playing in American politics right now. Ironically, most Americans feel pretty negative about the economy, despite the fact that, frankly, the jobs market is second to none, and inflation has been moderating for a number of months now. Will the Fed be able to engineer a soft landing from this high inflation? Well, that has yet to be seen. But certainly, these 2 individuals from their perch in the White House will have an important say over what happens on this. Well, if you want to see another video that I did where I compare the economic policies of Donald Trump and Joe Biden to see which one was more successful, and I'll break the tension for you on that, it's Biden. Well, why don't you check out this video over here? I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.